Hi, I am Zane, a relationship consultant and psychologist. There is something very specific that happens after narcissistic abuse, and I do not mean just heartbreak or even grief. I mean the strange, subtle ways your nervous system adapts in order to survive. The little habits you develop without even realizing it, habits that feel like personality traits, but are actually remnants of what you had to do to stay emotionally safe. Today, we are going to name them, not to shame them, but to understand the logic underneath. Because healing begins when you realize your behavior makes perfect sense, given what you have been through. And once we bring awareness to these patterns, we can start the slow, compassionate process of unlearning them. These habits are not your fault. They're adaptations. Survival strategies that helped you make it through something that no one should have had to endure. Number 1, over-apologizing. You might start apologizing for everything, for things that are not your fault, for taking up space, for needing anything at all. You say sorry when someone else bumps into you. You say sorry before you speak. That is not over-politeness. It is muscle memory. A habit you built to avoid conflict, to avoid being seen as a problem. It was never about the words. It was about survival. And even when you were in safer relationships, the apology stays, because your body still remembers what it was like to be punished for having needs. Over time, you may start to feel invisible, not just to others, but to yourself. Number 2, over-explaining yourself. You may also find yourself over-explaining why you were late, what you had for lunch, why you were doing something a certain way. Because for so long, your choices were questioned. Your motives were twisted. So now, even when no one is accusing you of anything, you feel the need to justify your existence. You over-explain because you are made to feel like a burden. And every time you give a long explanation for something simple, it is your nervous system trying to prove you are not doing anything wrong. You are hoping, subconsciously, to prevent disappointment, conflict, or withdrawal of affection. Number 3, struggling to make simple decisions. Even the smallest decisions might feel impossible. What to wear? What to eat? Where to go? Not because you lack intelligence, but because your ability to trust your own mind has been quietly dismantled. Every time you made a choice, someone made you feel foolish. Now that inner critic plays on a loop, and the fear of choosing wrong is not about the decision itself. It is about the shame that used to follow. So you hesitate, you freeze. You wonder why something so small feels so hard. You are not indecisive. You are scared of the consequences that used to follow independence. Number 4, hyper-vigilance. You are likely hyper-aware of moods, of energy, of tension in a room. You have learned to scan for danger even when there is none, because reading the emotional weather was how you kept yourself safe. It is not paranoia. It is a trained response, one you built to survive volatility. And now, even in peace, your nervous system does not quite know how to relax. You are always checking for emotional landmines just in case. You may find it hard to fully enjoy calm moments because part of you is waiting for the other shoe to drop. Number 5, second-guessing compliments. Compliments might make you uncomfortable. Not because you do not crave affirmation, but because it was once a trap, a setup. You learned that praise was often followed by punishment or manipulation. So now, when someone is kind, you brace yourself for the twist. You smile, but you flinch inside. Because kind words have a history. And even if you want to believe them, a part of you is waiting for the switch. You may even reject compliments outright, as if protecting yourself from being let down again. Number 6, avoiding eye contact. Eye contact can feel intense, unsafe. Even if you feel confident, direct gaze might still trigger something ancient in your body, because eye contact was once a doorway to conflict. So now you look away not out of shame, but out of an old need to avoid explosion. It is your body remembering that silence and invisibility were sometimes the only safe places to be. It becomes a form of shielding, even when there is no actual threat in the room. Number 7, feeling guilty when you set boundaries. Setting boundaries might flood you with guilt. You finally say no, and your heart races. You feel selfish, mean. But that is not the truth. That is conditioning. You were taught that your needs were negotiable, that your no was an insult. But it is not. It is a reclaiming. and the discomfort that comes with it. That is the sound of you growing. It means you are finally honoring your inner voice. If it still trembles, number 8, minimizing your success. You might minimize your success. Downplay your wins. Say, oh, it was nothing, because confidence was twisted into arrogance, because pride triggered punishment. So now, even when you achieve something real, your first instinct is to make yourself smaller. You learned that shining too brightly made you a target, so you dim, you deflect. And it hurts because you worked so hard for that light. But the truth is, you deserve to take up space in your own story. Number 9, over-accommodating. People-pleasing becomes a default. You over-accommodate. Say yes to things that exhaust you. Give away parts of yourself to keep peace. Not because you were generous, but because you were trained to believe that your worth was based on how useful you could be. Your kindness became currency. And now, it is hard to know if you were being loving or just trying not to be abandoned. True care must include yourself in the equation. Number 10, needing constant reassurance. You crave reassurance constantly, not because you were needy, but because your reality was once gaslit. You were told your feelings were wrong, your memory was off, your instincts were broken, so now you check and double-check, just to feel grounded in what is real. Reassurance becomes your anchor not for approval, but for safety. You are rebuilding trust with yourself, one validating moment at a time. Number 11, feeling selfish for putting yourself first. Even self-care can feel selfish. You hesitate to rest, to eat slowly, to do something just for you, because somewhere along the way, you were told your needs were excessive. That caring for yourself was a form of betrayal. And so you learn to shrink, to pour out. And now, refilling your own cup feels like rebellion. But healing is learning that taking care of yourself is not a betrayal. It is a right. Number 12, attracting or being drawn to other narcissists. You might notice a pattern. Being drawn to narcissists again. Not because you want to repeat the pain, but because it feels familiar. You are used to earning love, walking on eggshells. That dance feels like home until it does not. Until healing interrupts the cycle. And suddenly you no longer confuse control with care. You begin to crave calm, not chaos. You start to recognize manipulation before it hooks into your heart. Number 13, explaining your trauma with humor. And maybe the strangest habit of all, you joke about your trauma, you laugh it off, tell stories with a grin, turn pain into punchlines. And yes, there is courage in that. But also, there is avoidance. Humor becomes the armor you wear to keep from feeling too much at once. Because if you can laugh, maybe you do not have to cry, at least not in front of anyone. But some truths deserve to be mourned, not just masked with wit. Have you noticed these habits in yourself or someone you love? I would love to know. In the next episode, we will talk about what recovery from narcissistic abuse actually looks like and why it is not linear. Until then, be gentle with the parts of you that are still in survival mode. They kept you alive for a reason, and now they are ready to rest. Your healing does not have to be perfect. It only has to be real.